What a night! Once again, the United States descend upon its fortress city of Columbus, Ohio, and was lifted to a signature 2-0 victory when we needed it most. Yes, it was against a Japanese B team. This is very much the Japan Gold Cup 11, but a couple of lovely moments sealed the win with a dose of Cero. Of course it was. 2 fine goals. Cross from homeboy Max Austin. Last fine finish from Alex Zendejas. A goal the man of the day, Ray Hudson, would call magisterial. A second half fine finish from Balogun. We needed that. Taught the Japanese a lesson from their own genius, Haruki Murakami. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. We needed this. We did. And I'm so bloody happy. Columbus. Oh, that was the best thing to come out of your city, I think, since the little bow wow. This is Rog in Atlanta, joined by my friend, one of the greatest to ever do it, in our nation's jersey for a live taping of the Juice from Cincinnati. It's my friend, it's the Bass Assassin, it's Mr. Clint Dempsey.
What's up, Raj? How's it going, brother?
We needed this, Clint.
Man, it's what the doctor ordered. And anytime that we call for Columbus, they always deliver. It's the place that has our back when we need it most, when we need to get back on winning ways, get on track. And yeah, man, it's just what we needed. And you called it, man. Dose of Cero. You said it yesterday.
Well, I mean, you're very lovely telling me this. It was what the doctor ordered. And by the doctor, you obviously mean Dr. Joe Majnik or whatever his name is. But you predicted it. You said last night, live on stage of Hurt Gomez, you said you wanted Zendejas to start tonight. I mean, Clint Stradamus.
Yeah, I mean, almost. I mean, I did have Christian Pulisic scoring, but I wanted Zendejas to be in there. I wanted Balogun to be in there, and I thought those guys were difference makers tonight. I thought our back line did a great job, especially in the back three. It looked like the team looked more comfortable in that formation. So hats off to them and Mr. Freeze for getting the clean sheet. But yeah, I mean, good to see Christian creating. He looked dangerous in the second half with a great assist to Balogun, and then Arson in the first half. What we want to see, players taking players on more often. Did a great, scissor, moved to his left foot, whipped the ball in, and what a great finish from Zendejas. So it's great to see. I mean, it's so nice to be celebrating a win on here with you as opposed to a loss and having to figure out a way how to be positive. Now it's easy.
Yeah, we can just be negative. They weren't. We can just be unabashedly negative and let it rain. By the way, about that goal, Austin to Zendejas, Paul Carr, great friend of this show, incredible human being, he tweeted, Austin to Zendejas is the US men's national team's second A to Z goal. Clint.
Oh, dang.
And tell us in the chat if you can guess this before, Clint. Clint, can you guess who the first A to Z goal was in our nation's history? I can tell you, it was in
someone to Zimmerman.
Ooh, interesting. 2015 against St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So these are people you played with. A to Z. This is a great.
So it's not
quiz.
Zimmerman.
It's not Zimmerman. Zimmerman was just a babe. He was just a baby.
2015?
Yeah. I'll give you. Do you want me to give you a clue? The goal scorer is a man who liked to score goals by having the ball smashed in off his face.
Off his face. And it starts with a Z.
Yeah, last name Z.
Oh, yeah, I know. Zardes. Yes. Zardes, and who passed it to him? With an A.
A great friend of yours. A great friend of yours.
A great friend of mine.
Striker. You love the man.
Altidore.
Yes!
There we go.
The original A to Z.
You gotta help me out, you know. I need a few clues, but hey, that's memory lane right there.
God, Altidore to Zardes. One of the greatest face scorers in our nation's history. This is, as a reminder, a Do It Live, which means you, dear GFOPs, are a massive part of the show. Come on up. Come and talk to Clint and me. Tell us what you're feeling. Tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what your questions are after a win. We won a big boy game of football. against a top 25 side. Yeah, don't forget that it's a B team. Let's just revel in this moment. Here's how you do it. Scan the QR code in the top left of your screen. Take you into a Zoom with our producer, Tony, who's there for one reason and one reason only, to get you up here. Come and talk to old Clint. Come and talk to Rog. Come and celebrate with us. Oh, and if your question can't wait, get in the chat. Be reading your chat through the show. Hit those likes, subscribe to this channel. Just come be with us. Quick note before we revel in this win. New York City. Oh, we'd love it if you'd join us. September the 18th. It's next week. We're going to be at Terminal 5 along with NBA heroes Karl Anthony Towns and the great Josh Hart, who is proper Chelsea, to revel in the magical kingdom that is New York's sports scene. It's going to be a beautiful night. Thanks to MLS and Walmart for partnering with us. Tickets available all over our social and in the link in this show. Come be with us, have a pint with all of us here. And the chat, I've got to say, is humming. John Macaviak Jr. says, that's half empty glass, isn't just half full. It's now overflowing. World Cup victory tour back on. Big hit 109. What winning does to my soul. We need some more US men's national team dubs in my life. And Prashant Devinami, man. Did we fans need this dubs? The only downside of this win is that Clint Dempsey definitely won't be coming out of retirement now. Can you confirm that, Clint?
Yeah, man. These boys got it now. So hey, let's go. Let's go. Let's keep this train moving. We got the train back on the tracks. Let's keep it going.
A lot of us were hoping for a Dempsey Hayduk reunion in the next games against Ecuador and Australia. We'll put that one on ice, but let's get into it. We were following up the 2-0 South Korean stomping. We needed this win. I'll say Pochettino yesterday, we need to touch upon this, took on the American media, defending his process and plan despite the sagging run of results. He said, we have a plan. We have no worries. We have no worries about nothing. When people talk, they need to think a little bit. That always there can be another way to assess and analyse. Being critical is one thing, because I like the critics. But when it's critics for critics, I think it's not damaging me. You're damaging your country and you're damaging your players. He ended up by saying, we need you all in behind them to provide their best platform to perform. Clint, what did you make of this? Because I've got to say, in the Premier League, when this happens, when a manager kind of takes on, in this case, the media or the fans, it's normally not a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, what's the cure for anything is winning, right? And scoring goals and getting everybody excited again and believing again. But when you go for a long period and you talk from the point in which he was hired until let's say before tonight, if you asked U.S. Soccer, you asked him, or you asked the fan base, are they excited where they are right now? No one would have raised their hand and told you that, right? But obviously, wins can change the mood and have you looking in a new direction. But you talk about a soccer culture and wanting it to get better. But I think part of a soccer culture is expecting more from your team and wanting them to win and celebrating them when they do it. You know what I'm saying?
What we're here to do tonight, baby.
That's what we're here to do. At the end of the day, that's all we want to do. All we want to do is be happy about this team, have them winning, and talk about what a great job that they're doing.
We're here to kick B team ass, drink some beer, celebrate the W's. I will just say the media are not the problem. I mean, it's quite the opposite. I wish there was more media in this nation right now. I mean, I do think the results, the play, that was the problem. And the media's job is not to get behind the team. The media really are there to cover the reality, to ask the questions. Poch knows that. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but the dude is from the Argentinian part of the United States of America. He's managed in England. He's managed in the Premier League. The US media is so sweet and soft compared to those. We are a warm bath. I was laughing with Tyler Adams in his interview. The US media is a warm bath compared to like the toxic acid bath that is the English tabloid media. So come on, guys, let's deal with it. But to the game, Redhead Redemption in the chat said, the only answer about what changed tonight, it has to be new lemons into this game with the new lemons against Japan. By the way, Japan just qualified for their 8th straight World Cup. I think they surrendered like 3 goals in qualifying, scored 30. They were dominant. We have to be clear, I'm going to mention this probably just once more. Asterisk, this was a very weakened side. Japanese changed their entire starting 11 from the game in which they drew against Mexico. This was what I think you call a light lineup. Poch rang in the changes too. What did you feel before the game when you saw that team sheet? 15 different starting lineup in Poch's 18 matches in charge. This time, back three. You call for it. I mean, a lot of people have been calling for it. I love a back three for this team with the kind of fullbacks that we have that can go and really be can openers in terms of the creativity on the flank. I would have loved to have seen 18-year-old Bundesliga prodigy Nokai Banks in there, possibly instead of Tristan Blackman. But what did you think of the change before the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's one that worked, right? He made the right decisions, and you got to give him credit where credit is due. They looked comfortable in that back three, and it allowed their wingers to get forward more. I think there's still some question marks around the defending from Arfsen on that left hand side, but he did a great job of taking a player on, beating him with the scissor, pushing the ball to his left, and hitting a great ball in. I liked seeing Zendejas in the midfield. I thought Christian Roldan made a difference as well in terms of their hunger and their ability wanting to get forward. And Balogun up top, I think he causes you problems. He gets the balls in dangerous areas, and then he's allowed to bring other players into play. He's cool, calm, and makes the right pass. And he's someone that he can create problems. And it was good to see Christian Pulisic being dangerous again in the second half, and with the assist that he had to him. So, like I said, it's just what the doctor ordered for us, for the fan base, for the players, for Pochettino. It's just kind of what we all needed right now. And regardless of what A team or B team that Japan put out, you only can beat the teams that are put out in front of you. But this is a positive. We got to celebrate that. And now, can we build upon it as we look forward to the game versus Ecuador, Australia, Uruguay, and what have you?
Paraguay. We're playing all the guys, Clint. We'll take on all.
Let's take all the guys on, right?
Come at us, guys. We'll take you all. I will say at kickoff, I'm normally so excited for a US men's national team game day. Today came with a heavy dose of apprehension, I'm not going to lie. And the opening exchanges were, we didn't concede, which is progress. I think we've started really slowly. That's been a Poch signature. Japan tried to pass around, work it down the flanks. The US, I've got to say, looked a lot more balanced with that back three. We shaded possession. Matt Freese made two big saves early on, I think within the first 20 minutes to keep it scoreless. Balogun had a fine chance crafted by Pulisic, which he didn't take decisively. Again, this was a completely rotated Japan side. The early exchanges just looked like two very unsyncopated sides battling to find their rhythm, and the air felt like it had been taken out of the stadium. I think I may or may not have texted Clint as seconds before the opening goal. This is hard to watch, but the joy of football is that the game can feel broken and sloppy, and then out of nowhere, Pulisic had been coming back deeper and deeper to retrieve the ball. It felt a bit lost, but then just a moment of profound wonder. The electric Max Arston going forward, you're right, he was so hungry. It's what you wanted, Clint, every time we've watched together. You wanted US players who were hunters, with the ball, wanted to assert themselves. He did that, 12th cap. I felt so joyous for him. A Columbus Crew mainstay on his home turf, swung over a quite stunning cross.
What a finish.
Yeah, talk to me about the finish.
That's not easy. It's not easy.
Talk to me about it. I mean, it was an amazing... The ball coming in one way and then driving it on the volley the other way. Talk to me about how hard that is.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better ball in, but at the same time, he has a defender on him. He's still able to use his dominant foot, but his ability to keep the ball hard and low, that's what makes the goal. I mean, obviously the placement as well, but just the quality of that finish, to stay composed, to keep your weight over the ball and keep it down, and it's what we needed to get us believing again, the fans back on our side. And you could see there was a shift in the team once we got that goal. It was such a big momentum shift for us, swing for us, and then we came out the second half and we looked like we could have got 2 or 3 or 4. You know what I mean? We ended up getting a second, which was what we needed, and you called it dose of zero, but it looked like there was 3 or 4 goals that we could have had, whether it was Christian with another close chance, McGlynn with 2 great chances there, and a good cross in the box from Christian Rodon. I mean, there was a lot of exciting things to see in that second half. That was for sure.
Yeah, our guys were feeding off each other's confidence, joy. They all felt dangerous tonight. I want to ask you about Alex Sendejas. I mean, he's been one of those. There's a number of players, Johnny Cardoso, chief amongst them, who are almost Poch anathemas. Club team doing great, almost in exile from the US team. He wears the number 10 for Club America, plays in highly scrutinised, high pressure Liga MX week-on-week football. But it's been almost a year since he was called up. He's talked about how hard it's been for him not to be called up. Tonight, he looked like the kind of footballer you've been craving. You know, someone who fancied his chances every time he was in the final third. That hunger that's been missing, that belief that's been missing. I mean, honestly, I watched him tonight. I was like, why have we not had this gentleman, as part of our culture? Well, really, for the past year, I don't fully understand it. But tonight, he really asserted himself.
And what I respect about it is, maybe he's not been in the team that often, but when he gets his chance, what does he do? He takes it with both hands. And that's what you need. You need players that are getting their opportunities to play for this national team, taking it with both hands and saying, hey, I think I should be in the starting lineup. I want to go to this World Cup. And the more players you have doing that, it's going to make this team better and stronger and have us playing at the level that we need to play. So hats off to him for betting on himself, taking the risk to get forward. And when he got his opportunity, he put the biscuit in the basket, baby. So we're excited about that.
A lovely moment, big picture too. I mean, it felt so good to feel good again about this US team. That is where we are in this moment. Thought Tyler Adams was excellent that first half. Chris Richards, real leaders, the two of them, watching them on the football field. I will say how Tyler Adams is not the captain of this US team is one of the easy fixes, I think, for this unit. You watch him tonight, he was just snapping at all the American players around him. Truth was, though, first half, even this depleted Japanese side, I think their expected goals was 0.88. The US's was 0.78.
Yeah,
they had chances, man. They kept working the ball across the box. Matt Freese, I'll say, I think he was incredibly reliable. Made a series of really focused saves. He's growing into this position. He's seizing his opportunity. We don't quite understand how the opportunity reared its head, but this is a gentleman. I mean, without him in that first half, scoreline could have been very different, but he is making that moment his own.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. We talk about when you get your chance to get into the lineup, you got to make it difficult for somebody else to come in and take it. And that's what he's done. He got his chance in Gold Cup. He came up big in the penalty shootout. As part of the team that got to the final, and he's still been able to keep that position. So that's what it's all about, is when you get your chance, make it difficult for the next guy to come in and take your spot, and that's what he's doing.
Half-time, 1-0 to the US. First time the United States have led at half-time against a top 25 opponent other than Mexico, ... since the World Cup against Iran. That's just utterly, utterly astonishing. Second half began. Poch had said yesterday, I mean, he tried to say, I see progress when other people don't, fans don't, because he's looking for the mentality that the players are saying. And I've got to be honest, first spell of the second half was the first time in a long time I've seen the US team want the ball. You saw it, working hard, going forward, working for each other, making the runs, on the ball, being hungry, ambitious, assertive, dominant. I mean, it was really, we could have built on the lead. As you say, Pulisic missed, I think, 2 one-on-ones. You'd normally put money on him finishing.
But the way that he created that chance, man, you know what I mean? Swimming through defenders. I mean, just leading by example, taking the team and putting it on your back. And, it wasn't easy to create the chance that he had, but he was just trying to be dangerous. He tried to beat the keeper near post. He still had a part to play in the goal that Balogun got with the great assist there. You want to see players driving forward and confident. And that gives other people confidence to go and do that and express themselves. And so I thought everybody was playing with confidence tonight. You could see it, especially when, towards the end, when it looked like we were going to get 3 or 4 goals. Just the way that they were moving the ball and creating chances. And don't get me wrong, yes, it's against a weakened side in terms of they're not paying their best players for Japan. But it still was great to see. And can we build upon that now? Can we take it to these next friendlies and not just look at them as just friendlies, but as games that are must wins in a situation because you want to get this fan base back on your side. You want to get people excited and looking forward to the World Cup and filling up the stadiums and really getting behind this team. So I hope that, it's starting to pay off, and we're kind of able to turn that page and get to the next chapter, the good chapters where we're starting to get the results we want.
I love this. By the way, if I ran US soccer, I would ban the use of the word friendlies. I mean, like, who wants to pay $500 to take their family to watch a friendly? But who wants to go and spectate and witness the journey? I'd start calling it the journey. Just like make it seem bold, epic, just like an incredible adventure towards the destination of glory. I'm just saying, it's marketing, guys. Christian, God bless. By the way, the goal, we're going to talk about it because we'll focus on Balo. But I think this was an enormous moment. I really, really do for Christian. You've said, it's a guy with no assists, no goals in 3 straight games, which is not his style at all on this US team. Tyler Adams had come on our show on Saturday and said, we need Christian. I said, why? What does he bring to this team in your own words? He said, Christian is a man who can just make magic happen single-handedly on his own, just make something happen. And here, the narrative, if Christian had not contributed in these 2 games after the summer he'd had, that would have been a sort, knowing him, it would have been something that he would have stewed on, but also, it would have been a piece of flapping skin for this team. Instead, Christian run, really a signature Christian run, Clint, just that the spin, the surge, blowing past players, seeing
weight
the
of
space.
The pass.
Yeah, I mean, that was stunning. The way, the finish in Balogun,
yes,
clinicality, but the weight of the pass, man, it was, when you talk about it, you could have been on the field doing either of those 2 things, the run, the pass. That was very Clint. The finish also Pete Clint. So, I mean, what did you see in those moments? Because both elements were beautiful. I think both elements were bloody important for both players
for sure. I mean, what we talked about the other day is we want people driving with the ball, right, and putting the opposition under pressure. And when he's driving with the ball the way, it's a problem for them. They don't know if they need to step or they continue to drop off. But if you continue to drop off, it allows him to play that weighted pass that you saw to Balogun. Because at some point they got to step to him, right? But when he's able to get in the pockets and he's able to run at him, then it's when they have to figure out what to do. He did a great job with reading that situation, played the pass that needed to allow Balogun the time to get a great shot on with his left foot into the corner. So you talk about the pressure that he had on his shoulder from the summer, and how do you answer the critics, or, is to do your talking on the field. You don't need to do it off the field. Just do it on the field. And by doing that, everybody's back on track and saying, all right, that's our man. He's someone that steps up in big moments. We got that number 9 back healthy again, because what we saw from Balogun in Copa America really got me excited about his play. And it's good. I'm looking forward to seeing their chemistry together as they move forward, Pulisic and Balogun. But there's a lot of positives to talk about from tonight, and a lot of things exciting to look forward to for the future. And curious to see, who the players are going to be called into these next camps. Start to understand more of the mindset of the head coach and how he sees this team, and start to pick like what you talked about, who's going to be on that plane.
Yeah, there's going to be some wild cards. I believe Kyle Beckerman's going to be coming back in October. But by the way, is there any question, striker the striker, that Flo Balogun is now the number 1, number 9 for this US team, top of the depth chart?
I mean, that's something that you have to ask the coach, right? But for me, I like what he brings to the table. I think he is a complete striker. I think he's a player that can score with both feet. He's good in the air. He can run behind the defenses with his pace and be able to be on through goal there. Also, he's able to hold the ball up, like what you saw Obafemi Martins do when we played at Seattle. Allowed other players to come in and find them to create assists. So I'm excited about seeing more of him. I just feel like we haven't had the opportunity with the shoulder injuries that he had playing in Ligue 1. So glad to see him back, and look forward to the competition for that spot in the number 9. Because just because you score down doesn't mean that it's all signed and sealed, and that's the way it's going to be. You're only as good as your next game. I look forward to seeing that battle for the number 9 position of everybody who's going to have that spot when it's crunch time.
Ricardo Pepi coming back, please,
Exactly.
in October. I cannot wait to see him. And that was it. How do you say Dosa Cero in Japanese? That's the question. Tell us if you know in the chat. Google Translate tells me it's misero. My Japanese may probably be as good as my Danish on the pod when I read out the phrase makes my piss boil in Danish. A lot of crap I got for that accent. But if you know Japanese, you come on and tell us. Japan thrashed the crossbar. McGlynn did the same. I have to say, the Japanese goalkeeper, Kaseki Osako, made some phenomenal saves down the stretch. Really, really some world-class ones in there. I need to ask you, other than the players we mentioned, Clint, who stood out for you?
Oh, man. I mean, I think we pretty much covered it all. You know what I'm saying? We talked about the back line, talked about Chris Richards.
Amazing.
I thought he was amazing again.
He was amazing,
I think
right?
when you look at the back line, I think he's the first one you put on the sheet. In the midfield, you talked about Tyler Adams' performance, but you also got to give credit to Roldan and Zendejas, what they were able to the energy and the quality that they were able to bring in driving forward. Christian Pulisic, Balogun, they looked really good again. Yeah, I mean, it was just exciting to see the team playing well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, subs came in and we're trying to make a difference. McGlynn with the 2 chances that we talked about that he almost scored on. Unlucky on the one that hit the crossbar and came down and bounced on the line. But
by the way, that Diego Luna dummy in that was just like chef's kiss. I agree. Chris Richards' passing game. One of the most improved areas of his football was really beautiful to watch. Massive night for Matt Freese, who I hope is going to join me on stage in New York City. I'm really fascinated to talk to him. Clean sheet too, let us not forget. Superb for this team. Probably the biggest piece of tonight. I will say big picture. I'm going to take your questions in a second, GFOPs, because I want to get to them. I think tonight's victory, the most important victory, after Poch had gone kind of bore on the floor on the media, we wanted to see tonight, is there a plan that he talked about? Has it been communicated? Do the players believe it? Do they buy into it? Honestly, we still don't know if any of those things are true. The win is really nice, really nice. Finally beating a top 25 side, getting rid of that statistic. I do think, Clint, the big win tonight was the optical not losing. So it sounds crazy, but it would have been a bloody long month until October if we just laid 2 eggs
for sure. I mean, if we lost tonight, it'd be difficult to trust the process, because the more you lose, the more it's hard to see the vision. We talked about, you see someone building a house and they start with the chimney first before they do the foundation, and you're just like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But when you start to see results, you can start to envision kind of the plan that's going forward, and you can start to believe in it, right? So I'm optimistic. I hope they can continue to build from this, because I think it's also important to create good habits. We talked about losing and winning, and losing can become a habit. And we're having all these games on home soil, and the World Cup's going to be on home soil. So it's important that we start protecting our house. We don't let people come in here and disrespect us. We go out there when we fight and give the fans a reason to cheer, and we leave with dubs like what y'all talked about. So I'm looking forward to these friendlies and seeing more of what this team can do, and hopefully adding a little bit more quality with some of the players that we're missing.
Great statistic from OptaJack. The US men's national team has won 11 of its 15 all-time matches in Columbus, 73.3%, highest winning percentage of any city in which a team has played 12 or more times. I've got to say, you could make the case we should play
for the World Cup.
Yeah, play
all the World Cup games. Come on, let's get some.
Move them all to Columbus, and we'll win the bloody thing.
Let's go.
I'm speaking data here, guys. That's all. Don't hate me. Colby Peterson in the chat says Kyle Beckerman mentioned. There's always a Kyle Beckerman mention. Last question from me before we take the GFOPs coming up to celebrate with Clint. Clint, Poch is a year into the job. Almost to the day. I think it's tomorrow, is it? The anniversary. 10 wins in 18 games. But tonight it feels like we bottomed out. We passed the nadir. Please God, we're on the way up. He's disassembled the squad. Tonight was gestures of progress. If you were to grade the first year, what would you give him?
Oh, Um,
A
I
plus
mean,
tonight. Yes,
nah, I mean
okay.
tonight is what we needed. Gold Cup is what we needed, but Nations League was not good. We got to be real about that. Um, you know, I don't want to be a hater. I'm not gonna give a grade on him, man. But
Clint means by the way, I was a C. I was a D student. So when I'd probably give him a
yeah,
B minus, C plus, which was
yeah.
better than me. And look where I am today, kids. You can win the World Cup with a C plus. Clint's very
I mean,
big
if
on
they,
pass
but if you,
fail.
if they didn't win tonight, oh shoot, I'll be saying it's probably like a D. You know what I'm saying? You only have a few tests, man. That we needed that A. We needed to get to balance out our average. So yeah, I'm with you on that. Probably a
Amen.
C plus or a B minus. I like that.
BJ Callahan's got an A, baby, but Clint's big on the pass-fail grading system. Ecuador and Australia to come in October. I do expect a very different group, very different squad to come together. Weston McKennie back off the naughty step. 8 more games before the World Cup squad is announced. Let's get to your questions. Reminder of how this works on YouTube Live. Scan the QR code or click on the pinned comment in El Chato. Take you into the Zoom with our very beautiful producer, Tony, possibly the nicest man in the world, scientifically proven. Don't worry, you won't be on screen, so you don't have to put your shirt back on if you've ripped it off in Dos Acero glory. Let's go. We'll do as many as we can, all lining up. Let's start with you, mighty Liam. Tell us where you're from and what's your question for King Clint.
Hey there. I'm Liam. I'm from Naples, Florida.
Beautiful.
My question tonight is, the first ever soccer game I watched was USA Iran in the 2022 World Cup. So it's pretty much been downhill from there. But tonight I'm feeling hope. I'm feeling excited. Do you feel that after this match? And do you think that the changes that were made were only because of the loss to Korea, or we would have kind of gotten there eventually?
Well, what I think is crazy is you say trust the process, but if I just thought of it now, if Ben White doesn't get the hamstring, then Balogun doesn't even come in. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But things happen for a reason, and I don't wish anything bad against a player getting injured, not being able to come in. But Balogun took his chance, and we're talking about him possibly being the main guy, number 9 for this team. But yeah, I think you got to mix things up when you're not getting results and see who these players are. They're going to step up for you because he had to be feeling the heat. I mean, U.S. Soccer had to be feeling the heat. The tendencies that you've been seeing at games in terms of being more for the opposition is not good for optics, and it can't be good commercially for leverage when you're trying to get deals done. So doing what they did tonight is what the doctor ordered, is what we needed, and hopefully there's more of that. Well, I mean, what do you think, Raj?
God bless you, Brian White. I mean, that is the ultimate sacrifice. And God bless you, Ballo, for coming back in, still working his way back from injury. But you saw how locked in he was tonight. You saw how locked in. You saw how at the final whistle, looking at the coaches, the other players celebrate with him. You got a real sense of a weight off for him. It's been so long for him to score in a US jersey. I mean, you saw how much it means to him. That's ultimately what we want to see tonight. So I don't know about hope, Liam, but I feel like this team tonight will have hopefully narrative change, that debate, the awful debate, to be candid, about do these players care? Does it mean anything to it? Does. It does. And I feel like that has been shattered tonight with this victory. The style of it, the assertive, the aggressive, all those things. That's our most recent fresh memory. Look, there's always recency bias as a fan, right? So, I mean, if these two results had been reversed, we'd be in a darker spot to do the win and then the loss. So this is perfect. This is important. It's very, very good. These games coming up are hard. I want to be clear. Ecuador, Australia, Paraguay, Uruguay, all of this could be ripped to tatters. But ultimately, it's why we watch. We're excited now. We're ready for this team to come back together. We're not filled with dread. The must-win reality of the next window has kind of been changed a little bit. Those are the optics. But Liam, are you the human being that started supporting this team that actually pivoted its luck into a tailspin? Do you ever feel that sense of responsibility, seeing as you watch that game, which is really our last happy moment?
Sometimes I do. I've become kind of the person in my friend group that sets up all of the games tonight. Like to get together, everyone comes over, has beers, and tonight I invited everyone over, and usually I have 7 to 10 people, and tonight I had three. And after the second goal, I went into our Snapchat group chat, and I
Even you're
went,
losing attendance. Dang.
I went into our Snapchat group chat, and I said, F the haters, and I added them all, and I said, we're winning against Japan. See you guys at the World Cup.
God, that's so funny. I thought you were going to say, Liam, that tonight you had only 3 friends come, but you had 20 Japanese people you didn't know come round and just sit on your couch. By the way, you're hitting a really important point, which is from a fan perspective. This is the crazy thing about this US team. They have gone into a tailspin and lost, just a complete apathy in terms of their existence, really, at the very time when football has become so popular in the United States. But we've become a club football nation almost. Liverpool Arsenal was big here. We had like soccer curious, NFL fans. They all knew that game was happening. It had wider cultural impact. The US have become small. That's the battle. It's the battle for Liam's living room that we are trying to dig our way out of. And hopefully tonight was the first step towards really a surging return. God bless Liam. Thank you for being with us. I want to get to as many as we can tonight. Next one up. Oh, it's the great Andrew. Tell us where you're from, you beautiful human being. Unmute. Come and speak to Clint Dempsey and fire away.
Yeah, I am Andrew. I'm calling from Raleigh, North Carolina, home of the NC Courage.
God bless God's country, the best named sports team in the world. What is your question for Mighty Clint?
So I met his dad when I was younger. So I want to hear your perspective on Alex Freeman, if he has a shot at the starting 11. I think he plays with a lot of heart, and I really like how he plays and the energy he brings. So what's your critique of him?
God, I was excited. I thought you'd met Clint's dad when he was
No,
younger.
I was like, man, where'd you see Aubrey at? Where you see him?
I love Clint's dad. I love Clint's dad.
No, Antonio Freeman. That's what I meant.
No. I mean, I like Freeman. I like the energy that he brings. I think he's raw. In terms of some of the decisions that he makes. I think it's going to be difficult to replace Des in that position because of what Des can give you going forward. But I do think that there's still a chance to battle that out and see what happens. Obviously, he started over Des tonight, so Pochettino believes in him, and I'm curious to see. I think that's great that we have these battles that are going on for positions, because I think that's what we need to be a better team and to start getting better results.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that you've said. I mean, there's definitely a footballer in Alex Freeman. He is still so unbelievably raw. One of the storylines of tonight that's kind of been swept away, and I'm kind of fascinated, and I wish we had a press conference really to learn more about it. Not starting Dest, who, yes, is still working his way back from injury, still talked on the show when he came on. If you've not watched the interview, it's actually really, I was quite fascinated listening to Serginho. He's probably the most American mentality, and he's very, very Dutch at the same time. But he's still feeling his body, still feeling, not quite himself. And I would love to know why he didn't start tonight, because there is something about him. I mean, he's a risk taker, a wonderful risk taker, bombing forward, but it does leave particularly a defensive three who are still trying to find their chemistry. It leaves a real vulnerability when you have a player that's there and not there. Him not starting, was it a warning to him? Was it just a signal to him to not get complacent? Was it about his physicality and where he is in his own return? I mean, I would love to know more, because it does feel like Dest is, for me, unshakable as a position in this team. But for him, Alex Freeman, to get the nod, it's a player that will grow in confidence. I've got a feeling he'll be playing in Europe within the next year, and that next move for him, I think, will really determine the fulfillment of his true potential. But God bless, a remarkable human being. Next one up, believe it's your birthday tomorrow. If that is true, Kirsten, come on up, tell us where you're from, and give us a birthday question.
From Virginia Beach. Yes. Kirsten.
Excuse me, Kirsten. I am so
Yes.
sorry. My Japanese
okay.
is terrible. My English is even worse. Is it your birthday tomorrow? Is this the truth?
Yes, that is the truth.
I'm celebrating with the Dubs.
Celebrating 100% with the Dubs, and 1 year before I turned 50.
What? That sounds
Yes.
unbelievable. You genuinely find
Good
that hard to
win.
believe.
I was in line on Sunday, somehow got kicked out, but I have questions, a whole lot, but I'll keep it to one. So
Kirsten,
do
it's
we
your
think...
birthday. You do whatever you want.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Clint, we met you in Austin. Was one of the best moments. But so going into November and going into Philly and Hartford, are we going in with our starting lineups? Do we think that's what's coming in? And what do you think we should be doing? And Raj, why are you laughing so hard right now? Like,
I'm
I don't get
laughing.
it.
I'm laughing because my producer's in the chat saying I didn't
Sorry.
kick her out. We lost her connection. It wasn't me.
Okay.
Kirsten, I love you. I'm not
Okay.
laughing at your question, but I'm laughing at from your birthday from the 757. Keep going.
Yes.
Keep firing away with Clinton.
I mean, what I would say. Sorry, keep going.
No, it was just, are we going into November? So I think October is going to be different and a different lineup, but are we going into November with our actual starting lineup for the World Cup? And are we going to show up with that? Is Weston coming? Are other people coming? And do we think they're being brought in, or do we think they're just going to be left out? And we go into the World Cup wondering what's happening.
I mean, for me, I would like to see our best players come into every possible camp from now into the World Cup to get that chemistry going and to get this fan base excited and have us get back to winning ways. I miss seeing Anthony Robinson on the pitch. I miss seeing Weston McKennie. I miss seeing Pepe as well. It's good to see Des back. Just to see our full team and how it would look and what kind of performance you would get, because I think Pochettino has been bitten a little bit by the injury bug and hasn't been able to put out his best 11. I mean, I would say CONCACAF Nations League, he had the ability with the strong 11 to try to go out and to win that. But for the most part, they struggled with injuries. But I would like to see those players that I mentioned back in there battling and seeing what our best lineup would be.
Yeah, I mean, Tillman is the other one.
Tillman, good show.
I mean, Kirsten, we honestly don't know, and this is the cliffhanger that we leave the September window with. Are we building to something here? Are we these players that we've become, really quite familiar with, and we've really enjoyed? I love watching Diego Luna. I think him coming off the bench is a really interesting option for this team. He's speaking a completely different creative language to everybody else on the field. Zendejas has just established himself today. It's just a gunslinger in a very that mentality, very Clint Dempsey, prime Clint Dempsey, and I just love it. And so we're all we're these guys are working their way into our affection. But could it be that this series is a bit like Fargo, where the next season comes back in October and it's a completely different cast and a completely different storyline? Because kind of Poch has hinted at that. He said two things before this window. He said, number one, this is the last window for new players. And he also hinted Weston McKennie's coming back off probably the naughty step. I think it's pretty clear he's been put. That's why he was left out. He kind of hinted he'll be back in October. Who else will be back in October? If we do bring in Tillman and we do bring in Pepe, and please God, Anthony Robinson to me is the most important player in this US. What he does on that,
he gives you both. He gives you both. He gives you going forward and stability defensively. And we're just missing. We're missing that complete right back that can do what he does.
So
some of our
I think
friends,
it's both sides.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
when we have Anthony on one side and we have Des probably on the other
On
side.
the other.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can keep
left
we
and
can
right.
keep teams honest, and they can't kind of impose themselves as easily. If they all come back, we're going to lose some of our new friends. So I don't know. I don't know the truth. This is what we talked about in the last show. We keep thinking all these guys. Is Brendan Aronson coming back? Is Gio Reyna? God bless. I mean, I really hope Gio at some point does feel that swagger again and can make a claim here. But we talked about before this game, we said, what if they're never coming back and these are the guys? That's really, none of us know the answer to that, Kirsten. And I'm kind of, I can't wait. The nice thing about tonight, I can't wait for the next window now. And I'm guessing you feel somewhat similar. And it feels great to feel like that again about this team.
Totally agree. I think I get to. There's some of the players that I feel like should be starting and aren't starting, and some of the matchups that are happening maybe shouldn't be happening. And if you have players that play well, listen, I am a diehard Josh Sargent fan. I love that ginger all day long. Loved him with baby Yanks, but he is not a senior Yanks. And I know that. And unfortunately, that's the reality of it. So I think for me, being the fan that I am, and Raj, with your show, you read my best friend, Kim Merritt's letter back in like 2018 when he was passing of cancer. Like, I've followed you all the way along for everything, but it's just one of those, we have very realistic opinions of everything that happens and very realistic goals of what we expect. And so I'm there with that. Like, I'm a Flo, I'm a Weah, I'm a Pulisic, and let's go there. Let's figure out what we have to do to make this team successful.
Amen. Amen. And we want to both wish you a happy birthday. Your passion, your love of this team and this journey is really, really, that's ultimately all that matters. To a year ahead of many memories, loving your football, and come be with us anytime. Great comment in the chat. Jack Makiofak Jr., whose name I've just butchered and I apologise, says Dest is a swashbuckling hero made for journey matches, not friendlies. Yes! Yes, they're journey matches now. God, that sounds, the more I say it, the more odd it sounds. Let's have Sam come on up. Tell us where you're from. What's your question? Oh, for the mighty Clinty.
I'm from Warner Robins, Georgia. My question is, how many MLS players are we actually going to see in the World Cup roster? Because Poch seems to love them, but the European players are overall better players.
Oh, Sam, how old are you?
13.
God, man, it is great to have you on this show, speaking to Clinto. Sam, I'm looking forward to you playing, please, hopefully in the 2030 World Cup. Clint, how many MLS, what a question, how many MLS players are we going to see in this World Cup roster, do you think, ultimately?
I think it's tough to say, but I mean, I could easily see 5 or 6, breaking into the squad. But to your point, I do think playing in Europe is more challenging and is a higher level. But I mean, I think it's important to have a good mix, a good balance of domestic and talent and talent that's abroad. So I look forward to seeing how that maps out. But I'm not the person in camp that is picking players per se. But I mean, I think definitely both leagues, or whether you're home or abroad, are going to be represented. I mean, what do you think, Raj?
I don't know. It's such a crazy question, Sam. It's one of the great unexplored and misunderstood, not misunderstood, we just don't understand it. Poch does love the MLS player. This is one of the craziest pieces of narrative. We were talking yesterday, Clint and I, with her, how many paradoxes are currently wrapped into this US team. And we've had Greg Berhalter, an MLS coach, ultimately really went after the European talent in an almost Klinsmanic way. And then we have this great, supposedly global coach coming down to take us next level. And Poch has, quote, fallen in love with the MLS player. We talked yesterday, the player that I keep thinking about, I've thought about him a lot this weekend, this window, Aidan Morris, this young star, did everything he's supposed to do, reveled in Columbus Crew, had a great time there. Headed off to England to try and play in the best league he can be, currently in the Championship, lifting his team to top of that league, one of the hardest leagues to play in the world competitively, and he's thriving, surging, dominating games, and he's not making the squad. So it is fascinating, also who's playing and who's not playing, even the guys in the squad. We saw Chris Richards on the bench watching an MLS player take his place in the last game. Mentally, I don't know how that feels. You know how that feels. I know you always say to me how pissed off you'd be if you were on the bench and X was starting.
Well, I think it's one of those situations that it doesn't matter where you're playing. I mean, if you're good enough, you're good enough. And you always have a chance to prove yourself when you go into games and you go into camps. I remember going into 2006 January camp, guy on the outside looking in, trying to break into the European heavy roster that we had of American players that were playing abroad, because it was difficult during World Cup qualifying because those were the main guys, and you're trying to do whatever you can to try to get into that team. And when you get your opportunity, you got to take it with both hands. And lucky for me, I was able to do that in 2006, and which by having a good World Cup, that allowed me to get my move to Europe. So I think that there's quality of players that we have here in MLS, and if they get the opportunity, they just got to go out and take it. And for the players that are playing abroad, you got to make sure that your main players in your team and you're playing week in and week out. So it don't matter where you're playing, but when you get the call, you got to step up and you got to represent. So I think that's more of the main, should be the main focus.
Big Sam, thanks for coming on. Come be with us anytime, you beautiful human being. I've got to say, your passion for the game really does just infuse me with such incredible joy tonight. Poch's presser is happening right now. Journalist at Kentra Hagata has just tweeted, Poch has just said, I look forward to coming again. Talking about Columbus, give that man all the Schmidt's house of sausage. We've got time for 2 more questions. Coming up, mighty Tyler Myhan. Tell us where you're from and what's your question for Clinty?
Thanks for taking my call. And my question is for Clint. And really, from a player's perspective, when you come off a game like tonight, where we got the win, but there were a couple of shaky moments early on that on another night might have been punished. How seriously do players take those near misses in the film room? Is it more about relief that they didn't go in? Or do those become real teaching points even after a win?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely become teaching points because, you enjoy the win, but you don't get too high or you get too low, right? It's always the next game, and you got to perform, and you got to get back into your club team and do the business, and then get called back in. And when you get called back in, you'll have an opportunity to look at film and make sure you're doing things right. And things that you're not doing correctly, they'll be pointed out, and you'll have a chance to learn from them. If you're someone who doesn't learn from them, guess what? You're on the bench, you're not getting called in. So that's the way it always is. You always got to look at what you're doing, evaluate yourself, and make sure that you're putting yourself in positions to be successful. So I'm sure they got the film crew looking at, have the players looking at what they need to look at and try to get better and get what they want out of these players. But the most important thing is creating a winning culture again, getting people confident, and get us clicking on all the cylinders and getting some of these guys that have been injured, get them back.
I mean, what a great question, by the way. Thank you for that one, man. I really, really, really love it, Tyler. I mean, I've been with you in 2014 making that film behind the scenes of the World Cup journey. And I remember like a game in Cyprus. You played Ukraine in Cyprus. And then went to a hotel at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and then suddenly were driven to the airport, all of you, to fly to all points in Europe at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you were just gone. I remember deeply, like just seeing you all waiting in the airport, just like shattered, tired. I think you lost the game 2-0 as well. You're all just sitting there, very, very quiet, very sullen, but like. You were going off, man. You were going off to play back in the Premier League. Tim was going back to go and lose a game with Everton, probably. You know, Jermaine was going back to Germany. It was like everyone was splintering. How long does the US game stay with you? Or is it just immediately like, boom, get the bags to the airport, click back into the Premier League narrative? How does that work for an elite player?
I mean, for me, I mean, you switch it off, but I think both of them, whether you're playing for your national team or playing for your club, they help each other out, right? They get you back on waves again. That I always kind of like to use that phrase, especially for an attacking player, because sometimes you might not be scoring with the national team. You get a goal with your club team, you get called into national team camp, and then you're able to score with the national team, or vice versa. You're not scoring with your club, but you're getting called in to the national team. You get you a goal, and it brings you back with a good mentality into your club team, and then you get back on track of scoring. It's like they go hand in hand. You need them both, right? And sometimes it can get you out of slumps. And that's how I always looked at it. It was an opportunity to get out of a slump or keep a streak going. And you just had to go and make the most of it. And always try to represent and play your best, but it's always next game. It's always what team are you going to, and giving your all and making sure you represent where you're from or the club you play for, the country you play for. So that was my mentality.
Really fascinating quote from Poch, tweeted by Kyle Bon, who tweeted, Pochettino says Alejandro Zendejas has given him, quote, doubts about his expected World Cup pecking order. Essentially, he says he's had to reconsider how he sees the US men's national team depth chart after Zendejas' performance today. One goal can change everything, Clint.
Yep. As we talked about it, man, that's what's so beautiful about this game. One win can change everything, right? Gets everybody off your back, gets people believing again, gets people excited again. And like I talked about, getting goals can get you on a streak, can get you on a run. I mean, it's the same with Balogun. It's a guy that he wasn't going to get called in until Brian White had a hamstring issue. He comes in, and now we're talking about him being the main guy, number 9 again. So just getting goals, getting wins, man, it's crazy. Getting clean sheets.
Talking about him winning the Ballon d'Or, let's be candid. Let's not overhype the man, Rog. Last question for you of the night, of this win of wins. Come on up, Drew. Tell us where you are and what's your question for the mighty, mighty Clint.
Raj, I'm in Austin, Texas, so looking forward to the October match. My question is a bit tactical. With the chances Japan had tonight, it looked like they kind of were, targeting our outside center backs. Would a better team, be able to put Tim into a blender? And so do we think this is the formation we'll go with going forward? Or will we revert back to 4 in the back and maybe like the 4-3-2-1 we typically play?
I think that's a great question. I would like to see them play against the full strength side that is, top 20 in the world and see how we deal with that issue, right? We talk about, in the 3-5-2, the wingers kind of being, getting exposed at times, and do we have the speed from those outside center backs to deal with those issues of 1v1s? Example, Tim Ream stepping out to go against a Salah or someone with pace, that a Diaz from Colombia that can cause you problems. I would like to see how that would pan out. You know what I mean? How we'd be able to deal with that.
You would.
Well,
You
you have to be tested. You have to test your formation to see if it's going to stand the test of time.
Yeah. That's like whether.
How would you know? How do you know you got the right situation, the right formation? If you're not tested,
I would like to see this baby try and cross the 6-lane highway just to see how it pans out. It sounds terrible.
Hey, come on, man! You either sink or swim, man. They throw you in the deep end. You gotta figure it out.
I hate the water. This is Sparta, says the voice in Texas. I mean, but when you say Mo Salah running at Tim Ream, I've got to say it does make my bum clench a little bit. I don't love it. But
wouldn't you want to see? But wouldn't you want to see it? Yeah, we did well in that formation tonight. Wouldn't you want to see it better tested? To see if it's battle tested, if something it's seriously that we can use going forward, if that's going to be a main formation for us or not. Is that going to be our strongest
especially
one?
if Jedi can come back, right, then the relationship he and Tim have might be able to make it work.
That's actually really interesting. The Jedi recovery run with Tim is a really interesting. I mean, right now, any good coach with a I mean, Salah's one of one, isn't he? But Luis Diaz. I didn't sleep well last night thinking about Matoma running at Tim. Ultimately, Matoma doesn't start. Proof that 80% of the things you worry about in life never come to pass. So why do you worry about them in the first place? But it is a challenge because what it does, it also then sucks the midfield back.
Because Tyler also being the sixth, he puts out fires as well. But like you said, it forces you maybe to play deeper than what you want.
It sucks everybody back. So puts that vulnerability in mind rather than straight. Players aren't thinking about I'm going to go and run for. They're always thinking about the weakness, the fear, the worry, the darkness. Ultimately, I love the three at the back with Anthony. Please God, with Dest. I think it's probably the most ambitious, the most buccaneer, the kind of football we want to see, the stirring football. I'll say the stuff that we want to see and that we saw tonight. Tonight was nothing and tonight was everything. Tonight was what Clint has been begging for. We saw footballers who got on the ball and wanted to hurt their opponent.
Also, what I liked about the formation, it seemed like it gave Christian more freedom to move around and find the ball and to be our difference maker.
Yeah.
So that's also another reason why I like that formation, and curious to see moving forward, how does it go up against a true test?
Yeah, and by the way, got the best out of Ballo as well. We've seen Ballo struggle in previous Berhalter systems, just not playing to his strengths. All of it clicked. It made us just reminders. I'm going to give you the last word tonight, Clint, but just little reminders that tiny changes can just make our moods change. Tonight we leave there, I do, again, thinking, let's dream again, let's believe that everything's possible. Last night, being on stage with Frankie Haydock, hearing him bellow about the qualities that made that team, that, playing with Clint made them fearless. I felt little bits of that tonight, little embers of that fire glowing once again. So let's hold on to those. But Clint, the big lesson I learned from you tonight is when you're building a house, never start with a chimney. My mistake. But when you have the last word.
Well, you talk about little changes. What's insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So when things are not working out, it's good to tweak them a little bit and kind of see what's going to be the difference maker for you. And tonight, maybe that's the 3-5-2. Maybe it's putting in Zendejas and Balogun in the lineup and Christian Roldan and shaking things up like he talked about and giving people the opportunity to fight for a spot in this team and create more competition within this squad, because it puts everybody on notice. And when you have everybody fighting for a place to be in this World Cup, which is on home soil, there's no bigger stage that can be set. So I'm excited again. I'm looking forward to these next camps and to see who are the players that we're getting called in, if that 3-5-2 is going to be truly tested like we want to see, but also seeing our best players in and who that best 11 is going to be. I can't wait.
Somewhere in Japan, the Japanese version of Alexi Lalas is losing his marbles tonight. Just remember that, dear listeners. Our win is their loss. Happy birthday to you, Kirsten. New York City, come join us. Terminal 5, September the 18th with Carl Anthony Towns and the mighty Josh Hart, as well as I hope Matt Freese is going to be joining us amongst other people. It's a celebration of our city and the incredible football culture. Tickets available all over our social and in the link in the chat. Clint, I've got to tell you this. I can't wait for the next window with you. It's only, I think it's like 26 days away, baby, and we'll be back. You're a beautiful human being to spend time with, man.
Yes, sir, Roger. I appreciate you. Appreciate all the questions that people brought in, and appreciate the U.S. for getting us a win. Thank you. I don't have to be Eeyore anymore. Let's go.
At the end of Clint Dempsey, the Eeyore era is officially over. And most of all, thank you, Columbus. You never
Thank you, Columbus.
let us down. Courage.